This is Andi Purewal, Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by the huge frame of Shakan Pitters here in Birmingham. Shakan, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. What are you saying, Andy? You good?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. All good. Obviously, good to hear you doing well yourself. As I've mentioned here in Birmingham, you got a big fight coming up on March 28th. Chad Sugden now, originally Craig Richards, but it's for that British title, the British light heavyweight title. How excited are you to finally have the opportunity to fight for that title?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to fight for that title. It's a prestigious title. You know, many great British boxers in all weights fight for that. That's like their landmark, you know what I mean, of getting that belt. And, you know, and you're calling yourself the best in Britain in a way, you know what I mean? You could fight anyone in Britain kind of thing. So it's good to have that belt, obviously, and be fighting for it. So the plan is, the main aim for me, March 28th, get that belt.
Let's talk about the route to Chad Sugden, because obviously originally you was going to face Craig Richards. Just talk to me about that entire situation from when you was first negotiating to when the fight was announced to Craig pulling out, because obviously a lot of people have tried to put two and two together throughout the entire story, so you can just have a chance to clear everything up now.
Nothing, with me and Craig Richards' fight, it was never our doing on anything, you know what I mean? It was, I wouldn't say personally the blame is for him on the first occasion in December. It could be a thing where him and Matchroom was negotiating fees, you know, as he's mentioned before. But we were easy to work with. Like I said, we signed our end of the contract and the deal. We was all set, ready to train to fight for December, British title. We got contacted by a member of the Matchroom team, and they said that the fight's basically off because they can't agree financial fees or terms with Craig Richards. So I was like, obviously it's none of my business, whatever, with them. I still contacted that same person who contacted us. I said, look, you know, I'm happy to do, 6, 8 or 4 round, whatever it may be on the show, just to, you know, carry on, because I've been training, so I'd love to fight. They said there's no space on the show and this and that, you know, all that. So eventually, anyway, 3 weeks down the line or so, Fabio Wardley, he got injured on the actual bill. So then they contacted us 3 weeks later or so, like saying the fight could be back on if you want to fight, kind of thing. And I was like, well, no, we've been ticking over. We've not been, obviously, we've took our foot off the gas a little bit, been ticking over, because there's a difference between ticking over and being in a solid camp, you know what I mean? And being in a solid camp, even just for 3 weeks, makes a big difference to ticking over. So we was like, well, you giving us 3 weeks later, you know what I mean? We're mandatory, he's a mandatory. We want to be on a fair and even playing field. Of course, he went and fought. Chad got the draw, what it may be. And this is what I like about what it was now. You know, there was no messing around our side. There's no messing around Hennessy's side. We got the date set, March 28th. Mick Hennessy won the purse bid as well. And, you know, we got this date, March 28th. There was no hiccups nowhere, you know, that is it. I want him to come in at the best. I want to come in at my best. It's that simple. As we're both the mandatory, he ain't giving me the opportunity, you know, so I want us both to come in at the best. Then obviously he pulls out when we was in the first week of camp in Dubai, I believe it was the Tuesday I heard, saying that he's got a flu/viral infection. Now this is 5 weeks before a big fight, you know what I mean? I'm not going to pull out of a big fight with a big opportunity to fight for British, especially like for flu or whatever it may have been, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm not gonna. At the end of the day, you can get yourself together, regroup, carry on, but it's his business. It's nothing personal towards him. I'm still, you know, on my track to fight for the British, which I wanted to. It didn't matter who against, and I'm happy to be in the ring. And fair play to Chad, obviously he stepped up from getting a draw, whatever, you know. He's obviously a worthy opponent, but me and Craig Richards different level. Like you'll know about that on March 28th when we get in the ring. Because even with himself, like naturally, I feel, you know, he's naturally a super middle. You know what I mean? He's small. He's a short guy, and when I've been, everyone I've fought at light heavyweight, you know, people look at records or whatever. I've started as a cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So I bring my power down from cruiserweight. But everyone I've fought at light heavyweight, you know, I've dropped or I've hurt or I've knocked down or whatever. So I know I carry my power down. You know what I mean? I'm a big, tall, strong light heavyweight. So it's all good.
How frustrating was that situation with Craig Richards? Because we obviously saw some back and forth over social media. You both seemed to want to fight each other, regardless of any contractual disputes. But how frustrating was he, and how frustrating is it that you won't get a chance to face him on March 28th?
Yeah, I mean, you've done a lot of talking up towards the fight, you know what I mean? So where I'm from, we back what we say. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. He did do a lot of talking, but like I said, it's business. It's nothing personal towards him. He's pulled out. I ain't pulled out. It's what it is. I'm still on track to, face and become the British champion March 28th. So that's all I'm focused and care about. It didn't matter if it was Craig or whoever is in the ring. I've just got to focus on my career and my track. It's no personal vendetta, but it was a bit frustrating after all obviously the talk and the build-up and things like that. You're obviously raring to go for it, but it's still mandatory, so we'll see.
John mentioned that if you are successful on March 28th, the board have said you'd have to face Craig next, provided obviously Craig wanted to face you. Are you open to that? Are you interested in still fighting Craig?
Yeah, of course. Like, it's, at the end of the day, it was one that was talked about. I'm sure the fans would want to see it, but at the end of the day, again, my career doesn't hold up for this guy. It's twice now. Twice from December and again in March. So if it was for him, I would have been waiting along until probably the summer. So I'm not holding my career up for anyone. If he's got the mandatory, the board ordering it and all that, then I'll just, he just needs to be on his game and not pull out for no flu or flipping headaches or whatever it may be. So we'll see.
Also, you mentioned Craig's fight with Chad the back end of last year. That would have probably been ideal for you to face Chad because I'd imagine, had studied that fight, saw their draw. So all you had to do was switch your focus to the opponent in the ring instead of Craig. But what did you make of Craig Richards and Chad Sugden's draw last year?
It was arguably the way it could have went, innit? For me, I think Craig obviously showed his ring rust. I think he did. It probably was a smart idea, and it would have been a smart idea if he just mentioned it. Probably instead of, if it's him and his team just mentioned the fact that, we've not fought since the Jake Paul fight. We want to get another fight in before we face for the British. That would have been understandable. Even I would understand that, So I think he showed a bit of his ring rust there. Chad, again, he was tough, he was durable. From his kickboxing background, they're always going to carry that, All he's looking out for now is punches, not neat, whatever, elbows, whatever they're doing. I don't know, in kickboxing, kicks or whatever. But he's not looking out for that, so obviously he's just more durable. He's a tough guy, I'll give him that, he's tough. But naturally, again, Craig Richards as well, he's someone who's come up from super middle, he's someone who can float down to super middle. I'm coming down from cruiser, I'm a big light heavyweight, I'm not a small light heavyweight, and this is again what, Chad will face himself and see, that I'm a big dude, I'm a big guy for him. He's 6 foot, and like I said, when I land and he does feel my power, then it's a lot different to, the likes of any other people, who's with. But like I said, he's your boy, he's tough, he's a worthy opponent, He's been talked about after that Craig Richards fight, so, I commend him for stepping up in his team. And, we'll get it on, man. I just can't wait to get in there. I've trained hard, and all that's going to prevail on March 28th.
So how do you expect the fight to play out between the pair of you on March 28th?
I'm just going to be landing, just literally landing at will. I think for me, it's I don't go looking for knockouts or anything like that. If they come, they come. But I think that if I don't get him out of there, then I think it's a case where probably his dad will throw in the towel or someone. I just genuinely feel that he's probably going to take a lot of punishment. He's going to take a lot of punishment, but he's tough, I'll give him that. He's durable, so we'll see. I'm prepared for 12 hard rounds. So I've been doing, good rounds in our gym. We've been getting good work in with Buatsi as well, and I'm prepared for 12 hard rounds. So if it goes 12 hard rounds, then we'll see.
We'll come on to JB in a moment, but just to quickly finish on, I spoke to John just in the interview with him, and he said that he has spoken about the potential for you to drop to super middleweight as well if the right opportunity presented itself. Obviously, we see you're huge at light heavyweight, and he says you make weight comfortably. Would you be interested? Could you make super middleweight?
I probably could, but I ain't trying to do that. I've told John before. I ain't trying to do that. I like my food. At the end of the day, I don't think it would be mad healthy for me on my body to drop to super middle. I could if I really wanted to, but I'm comfortable at light heavyweight. I've got all the advantages still at light heavyweight. John's always like that, man. He's always looking at you. You're in the mirror, like, oh, yeah, we could get a little bit off there or do this. I'm like that. I'm not about to walk around the skin and bones, so nah, it ain't gonna happen. I don't believe that will happen.
Let's talk about that Buatsi sparring as well. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Josh potentially being on the verge of a world title fight. When you're sparring him, how do you feel you cope with him?
Yeah, we get decent work, and as I say, look, he's a top-level boxer. You know, he didn't win Olympic bronze for no reason, and I think in boxing there's a lot of egos, and you know what I mean. And I'm not one of those who has an ego. Like, I learn a lot. You know, he learns a lot in his sparrings, but I learn a lot obviously off him as well. Being at the level he's fought at, you know, his amateur pedigree and so on. So he's an amazing person to fight, and I'm happy to be able to have the opportunity to be doing that. But him as a fighter, he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. There's no doubt about it. You know, he deserves all the success he gets in the boxing. I wish him the best with it.
Just a few more quick questions, because I know Sam's on his way up now. Do you feel Josh is ready for a world title?
Only Josh and his team would know that. I mean, me sparring him, he's sharp. I believe he's got the potential to obviously get there. He's a sharp fighter, sharp boxer. But only they know in their own time. I'm not discrediting the fact that he's not ready, because he, you know, arguably speaking, he can go that way, but they know the route for themselves when they want to do it, or if they're not, or whatever it may be. So that's for him and his team to decide.
And then just a quick couple questions on the heavyweight division. Yesterday we had Alexander Usyk versus Usyk-Chisora announced. Shakan, what are your thoughts on that one?
It's a good fight. I mean, Usyk obviously he's not gonna. I don't see him trying to slug it out with Derek, but Derek's hit and miss at times. It depends which Derek turns up, innit? I mean, if he turns up with the intentions to not let his head go, to you know, put the work pressure on Usyk, it could be a tougher fight. But I do feel that Usyk's boxing will prevail through that fight, because he's again got a good pedigree as well. Derek's kind of studying Derek. He's just a brawler, isn't he? He's going to try and outbox Usyk, so Usyk and his team will know the game plan is to more or less box him at angles, keep him at range. So I think Usyk will probably win on points, or boxing him out, just by boxing him around the ring basically. So.
And then your fight being Dillian Whyte versus Alexander Povetkin. Obviously, know you're very close with Dean Whyte, Dillian's brother. But what are your thoughts on Dillian's bout with Alexander?
Again, it's a really good fight. That I think Dylan does come through that fight. You know what I mean? Just on his raw toughness and things like that. I do think he comes through that fight, definitely.
Well, Shakan, we will leave it there now, because I know that everybody's in a rush now to get set off and enjoy the rest of their days. Yeah, I know you've got to go and sort out your car as well, because I was obviously on the phone to you when you had a little. Well, not you had an accident, but somebody went into the back of you.
Donut, man. I know it's crazy. He spoke to me on the phone. Guy on a moped anyway. He's literally just went straight into the back of my car. Boom. I was like, what the hell is that? He was on the floor, so I've looked and I was like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? He's like, oh, my brakes are loose. Got it all on video anyway, but it's what it is, isn't it? These things happen.
We'll leave it there for Shakan, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you as always, Speaks Boxing Social, and best of luck with the rest of your preparations for March 28.
Take care, man. Nice one, Andy.